Our main focus for this demo pod is making it a portal into multimodality.
For the first time, we're activating everything to be an extension of our senses.
So it's not just haptics, it's not just tactile, and it's not just acoustic. It's a combination of all of those by resonating a surface so fast to the point where the body gets to choose its modality that it's most suited to listen for that specific frequency rate.
The creation of the Embodied Sound Demo Pod is the first time in this company's history that we are able to showcase in a completely controlled environment everything that we can do with our technology from the hardware to the software. For 4 years now, we've been trying to explain our research about creating speakerless environments where we're turning every object into a source of sound all through vibration. And talking to partners and clients, not always is it easy to understand what exactly does that mean and what does it enable and what problems does it solve. So this demo pod is, for the first time, a centralized source where we can showcase every single different use case and get our partners on board to understand all the different ways that they can leverage their technology. Whether it be today in live entertainment venues or tomorrow inside of consumer electronics, we're super excited about showcasing it directly in this demo pod and also highlighting a lot of featured artists in our own studio as they showcase music, creative work in this multimodal way. Our main focus for this demo pod is making it a portal into multimodality, because the most important part about the research that we're doing here at Edge Sound Research is how do we combine multiple senses to inform you about certain information that you're perceiving. Because that's what makes things immersive, that's what gives things clarity, and that together is what's going to change the world of audio.
So when I first joined the company in 2020, it was very exciting to be able to showcase at Eureka Park at CES. And one of the things that we really wanted to do was, how do we share with the world something that shouldn't be possible, but we made it happen. And we just had benches and people were looking under and saying like, how's this possible? There must be speaker hidden somewhere. And then that was the genesis of us thinking about, we need to wow people in such a convincing way that there's no doubt about it that we are ushering a new technological platform. 1 year forward, we brought in couches, really integrated into things that are familiar to people, and we did our first flooring units to really show, hey, we have something that's very modular, flexible, and is meant to live and embed into other things. And that was the genesis of this booth, where we thought about, what if we can push it further? The pod came from the idea of a phone booth or a recording studio or a music room or a private meeting room. The idea that it's an enclosed space that you have full control over. One of the key things we want to hit on is that technology now can be invisible, just materiality and home comfort. And the idea here is, how do we integrate our tech so well that all you see in there is the space and the content in front of you.
In the demo pod, you have 4 wall panels that function as a form of speaker that emits sound vibration into the room so you could hear.
The engineering, architecture, and the design of it needs to be integrated with essentially a very stable floor, the suspension for our flooring units to sit on top of, a frame to build inner wall and outer wall on top of, and then the wall speakers to hang off of. And for the first time, we're integrating seats, lounge seats with our device.
It also has stereo Resonx units to provide embodied sound for each chair. There's 4 chairs in here, so each one has its own stereo function. There's also 2 series of floors. Each one is its own unique channel as well. So together, the entire surface is a giant left and right stereo channel. So if you're counting, that's left and right from the acoustic area in the room, left and right in each chair, and left and right in the entirety of the floor. And the coolest part is that each channel is individually controllable and individually adjustable.
What does it mean to point at something and say, I want to hear more of that? Or say, this audio should come from this space. Or I want the room to sound 10 times bigger or 10 times smaller, right? We want to be able to curate the right environment for a user to be able to control their space or curate their sense of the world.
So if somebody on the right is not having a good time, or if they want a little bit more, a little bit less of a certain thing, you can actually turn up the right floor, but keep the chairs and keep the acoustics in your room exactly the same. Vice versa, maybe someone's a little more sensitive on the hearing, but they really want a lot of feeling. You can turn down the acoustics on one side, but then amp up the floor and the chair so that way they can feel a lot of the visceral environment. This is thanks to our ResinX management dashboard, which allows an operator to be able to choose any group or any single ResinX device in their deployment and adjust it at will. The ResinX management dashboard integrates seamlessly, just like it's its own program. It also integrates with other softwares that deal with other types of media.
When we think about immersive entertainment, we think about going to a dome setting, or we go into a big movie theater where we are, for the first time, cut off from the rest of the world in a way and be able to focus on a single piece of content.
This Edge Sound Research demo pod is the first of its kind to deploy a fully immersive environment demonstrating embodied sound.
Now we're able to shrink that into a space that hosts 1 person, 4 people, and we can scale that to 10 people, 40 people. But the flexibility to be able to curate a space that can truthfully teleport somebody into another environment, that as a concept unlocks so much for how people can share spaces or live within a certain space.
Embodied sound is a technology that allows a user to feel and hear the entirety of the sound frequency and detail and nuance of sound, including music and other types of events and sound events, throughout their body, including their ears.
For the first time, we're activating everything to be an extension of our senses.
So it's not just haptics, it's not just tactile, it's not just acoustic. It's a combination of all of those by resonating a surface so fast to the point where the body gets to choose its modality that it's most suited to listen for that specific frequency range. So for higher frequencies, your body may choose to use its ears, or your body may choose to use the sensors in your fingertips to be able to experience higher frequency content. Lower frequency content might be experienced both with the ears and the body. By having a seamless transition between the different modes, the artist who's creating content does not have to choose or does not have to specify something to go to a haptic channel or tactile channel. They just simply make it in sound design software, and it translates exactly 1-to-1 into any environment that has embodied sound. Even if it's 1 chair, a series of 4 chairs, 4 chairs, the floor, and wall panels, or any sort of permutation of all those elements. Anything that has embodied sound will translate that content exactly the same way every single time. So it doesn't matter how large or small the installation is, the artist can ensure that their experience is going to be translated appropriately. Working with an embodied sound system like the demo pod, a sound designer or a creator of an experience can create things such as a virtual venue. So let's say you're watching a basketball game in another state. You can transmit all of those sounds from courtside directly to a demo pod, and you can replicate the exact experience of being right there courtside. You can feel the dribbling of the ball, passing, capturing, shoving each other, shouting, and all of it in spatial reality as if you were right there in person. No other type of experience or technology allows you to feel those feelings at the time, as well as to have it in this immersive full 360 type of experience. All embodied sound systems can run off of a myriad of different signals. There's no new signals, there's no new format, nothing. It's all audio signals made from sound design elements, from traditional DAWs and sound equipment. We're running live mixers that are going into here, so something you can grab off the shelf at any Guitar Center or Sweetwater. You can pick up something and be able to plug directly into our embodied sound system. We can take anything from analog signals to Dante to other digital types of audios. Anything that you would normally deal with is something that we accept, and we want to make it as easy as possible for operators and venue owners to be able to integrate embodied sound into your venue.
What makes the idea really valuable is to be able to execute and build on top of it. And so I see this as a way to slingshot our curiosity beyond where we were last year and say, now is our ground zero, and how do we catapult beyond that? And so I'm honored to be able to bring this to life and say, what can we imagine beyond this point?